Strobush.
Here.
Riemenschneider.
Mute.
Oh,
Julie, you're
you're
muted.
muted, Julie.
She's here.
She's here. And then Elkin.
Here.
Okay, first item, discussion recommendation, removal of parking limit signs on Keller Avenue.
That was
Mind
one
if I
Paul
speak?
brought.
Go ahead.
All right, well, I apologize last night for, I guess I didn't look at the Public Works agenda there, that it was on the agenda last night. I had spoken to Jeff this morning a little bit, and he had brought me up to speed a little bit about some of the things that were brought up last night. I would suspect that it's more of a financial issue. Am I correct in that, or are there other concerns or comments on that?
None. It was, we don't enforce it. We were talking about, we put them up, it goes back to 1970 when my dad first started business, is that it was about employees and employers parking on Main Street in front of their business doors.
Yep.
And, you know, they have the right, you know. So, although it's not right for their customers, that's the reason the signs are put up. And now we've never enforced it. People come from the Twin Cities and they see one of our parking signs and, you know, they go in and start walking around and visiting, and then they go, wow, you gotta move our car, you know, or what's the purpose of the signs, I guess.
Well, I would certainly agree that throughout my whole career here is that the enforcement was usually when there was a concern and stuff, and that we've never gotten out and chalk tires per se and things like that. I don't have a strong opinion either way there, but a few of my concerns are we going to get voluntary compliance, hopefully from either the businesses for the employees that might want to park out in front. Maybe I think we have 3 buildings that have apartments above there. Are we going to run into something like that? And then the overnight parking. Besides the limited time parking there, we have the overnight parking between 2 and 6 a.m. Obviously, in the wintertime during winter parking restrictions, that doesn't play into that. But how does that work into if there were to be cars parked when they're sweeping streets? And not that it would be a whole lot there, but those are just some things that came to mind there. And how many spaces are we potentially going to lose when the road gets done? Does anybody know? We're probably going to lose at least what 1 or 2 each block.
2 each block, I think.
Like on each corner? Is that where that
Yeah,
bump
where the
out comes in?
Yeah.
But we never voted on bump outs. It's required by the ADA. I think we have to.
But I would suspect, like some of the communities that have that, there is like a 5 or 6 foot gap in between each parking place there, so people can drive in, so they're not parallel parking there and stopping traffic. So
Nobody said that to us.
Well, there's a 5-foot buffer all the way through,
Yes.
and the bump out goes to the front of the parking.
No, I mean, that bump out was never brought to the council as mandatory prior to this.
I remember in the meetings, I'm gonna say it's to do with the grade for wheelchairs to get up out of the crosswalk.
And it also shortens the distance from walking across the
Yeah,
street.
yes,
Yeah.
because DOT always told us that it was optional. I mean,
And I don't think they're raised bump outs either, they're that,
Like a slope.
yeah, like a driveway type curve there, they
so
don't.
that's 4 spaces per block.
I-
Two on each side that you're missing, that you're losing.
yeah, and somebody would have to check to see how the striping is going to be, or if they're, I mean, I guess suspect that's up to the city there, but the community I've seen with only one lane and for travel there, and I'll bring up Cumberland there, on 63 there, they have a gap in between each parking spot there, so people are able to drive in or back up a little bit to get out, so they're not attempting to parallel park when there's only one lane each way there, but
There's a 5-foot buffer between the lane and the parking, between the parking spots and the travel lane, there's gonna be a 5-foot buffer.
okay.
So,
All right, yeah, and like I said, I mean, I have no strong opinion either way with the police department there. It's just that if we get complaints, we're not gonna be able to address most of them. If somebody decides to perhaps leave their car on the street for 47 hours there's not a whole lot we're gonna be able to do about that, and certainly it'd be tough to go back then. I'm not sure what most of the businesses would say on that matter there, but if that be the case, I would ask that we update our handicap parking signs and add additional and new U-turn signs in the areas downtown.
If we end up with losing 2 on each side, plus we have 2 handicap spots on that, you are not gonna be able to hardly park on Main Street anyway. So I, in light of that, all those signs are gonna go away anyway because the curb and gutters being redone. And what would be the thought about a 2-hour maximum? Cause I don't think you're gonna hardly be able to park downtown.
or 4,
Huh?
or 4.
Yeah, well, some other figure in hours maybe not enough, but on the other hand, anybody that's shopping in Amory isn't gonna spend, the only people who'll spend 4 hours are the ones that go to the bar.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody else is gonna spend 4 hours walking up and down Main Street, I wouldn't think. Or if they
I
do.
guess we don't really know how many parking spots we're gonna lose, if it's 1 on each side or 2 on each side.
Well, you lose one in the bump out, right?
I don't know how they adjust the length of the parking spots and, what the new length is, what the old length is. We just don't, but we're gonna lose some, yes. We don't know how many currently are. We can look it up to see how many there is going to be because we have a map.
Yeah.
But we don't know how many there currently are.
Well, if I owned a business on Main Street, I would covet every parking space that I had.
Yes.
Having said that, I already lost the 2 I had, so.
Yeah.
As Rick said.
I'm gonna get my 2 cents worth.
Well, maybe we should reach out to, MSA,
Okay.
express our concerns, and they can work up a plan, or even the state, work up a plan for the future, from when they, work up a signage plan for after, or part of the construction project.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Then bring it back to us and. for
In a few
discussion.
short months, it's gonna be tore up anyway.
All the signs are coming down, so.
It doesn't pay to do anything now, but
No.
we can at least have a discussion about what we look like afterwards.
Yeah, that will happen. And they are opening up bids tomorrow morning.
Mhm.
So, yep, they're opening up bids tomorrow morning.
No, MSA is doing it.
MSA is doing it, yep. So we're gonna watch it,
So it'll be,
yeah.
Zoom.
it'll be interesting.
Mhm.
Anything else, any more discussion on the removal of parking signs on Keller?
No.
Hearing none, item 2, discussion recommendation, emergency management plan.
Actually, I put this on
Here,
here.
Rick.
So I started going to school, doing the emergency management certificate from UW Green Bay
Mhm.
to help us update our old emergency management plan, get more current, and hopefully have a better working document than what we have now. Pretty much it, I think.
Okay.
Because Paul's neighbor moved, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he moved. And Ben happened to see that.
Mhm.
he asked if he could
Yeah,
do it,
I got the
so,
little email notification like the
Yeah,
same day. I'm
the
like,
same
"What?
day.
Good timing.
Convenient. Item number 3, discussion recommendation, ordinance 02-2021 for 2021, chapter 405, vehicles and traffic, and this is adopting this recodified ordinance.
Yeah, the only difference between how the ordinance reads now and what the previously recodified ordinance is, this repeals the parking ban on the south side of Broadway. That is the only thing that's been removed. Everything else is.
And I think, Tom, you were right that, the florist isn't there anymore, and that's what the parking on one side was for the park to go into the florist on the north side of the road.
I think that was the major issue there, when it
Yep.
came up 25 plus, I'm guessing years ago there. Have we had any problems since then? No. Is it a narrow road? Yes, it is, and are there times when there's cars on both sides? It is, but I don't necessarily believe, or in my mind, that it justifies signing that and then having to tell the neighbors there that, yeah, this was an ordinance a quarter of a century ago, we just didn't sign it and stuff like that, but
Couldn't park your dinosaur.
so essentially removing the parking ban.
Yep.
Any other discussion on ordinance 405?
So we'll just make a recommendation, to bring it to council. Yep.
Do I have a recommendation to bring it to council?
I would move that we move this recommendation to the council.
Motion made. Do I hear a second?
Oh, Julie seconded, but she's muted.
Okay.
She's raising her hand.
Okay.
There you go.
All those in favor say aye or raise your hand.
Or wave.
Those opposed, motion carries. Any other business for public safety? Hearing none, I will entertain.
Motion to adjourn.
Do I hear a